Hi everyone, this is Simeon Davenport, or Norbert, and welcome to my fifth commentary video. This is a commentary on my favorite Canadian songs that America's never heard video. This video is sped up to about 1.75 speed. I don't quite have 42 minutes worth of stuff to talk about, so that's why I'm speeding this up. This is my second time recording this commentary video. I actually was recording it, this is my second time recording it. The first time I recorded it, I got to about to Guilty as Sin, so the 11th song on this list. And then it stopped recording all of a sudden. So hopefully it doesn't happen again. And plus I'm speeding this up to, also in that original recording of this, it was sped up to 1.5 speed. So I had to speed it up a little more to 1.5 speed, mostly because I was still kind of lulling a little bit in the commentary, even though I still have quite a bit to say regardless about this particular video here. So this video premiered on Canada Day, July 1st, 2022 this year. Like I mentioned possibly doing this video at the end of my my King review. You know, near the end of that video I said maybe for something in the future I'll do a video about some of my favorite Canadian songs that Americans have never heard of, and well, I finally did. I actually started working on kind of drafting this video not long after my King review came out. I think in like December of 2021 I was already kind of laying the groundwork for making this video here. Yeah, back then is when I started, I came up with the original 20 songs for this video. Pretty early on, I decided that this would be a 20 song list instead of a 10 song list, mostly because there were a lot of Canadian songs I wanted to talk about in this video, a lot of Canadian artists I want to shine a light on. So I decided to have this be 20 songs instead of 10 songs. My original list that I came up with the 20 songs, it was very similar to, it was almost the same as the list that I showed in this video. There were only two songs that I ended up changing. The songs Rule the World by Walk Off the Earth and Sound of Your Heart by Sean Hook were not in the original 20 song list I came up with. Originally it was Fire by Raghav and Left Standing by Shane Hart that were in the original list. I ended up swapping those songs out for Rule the World and Sound of Your Heart, obviously. Although Fire and Left Standing did appear in the Spotify playlist I mentioned at the end of this video, where I mentioned how there were several Canadian songs that didn't quite make the cut for the list. So, you know, that playlist contains all the 20 songs we're talking about in this video, plus several more Canadian songs that didn't make the cut for the list, including Fire and Left Standing are on that list. Yeah, I didn't really have too much to say about the songs Fire and Sound of Your Heart. I mean, Left Standing, that song actually didn't even chart on the Canadian Hot 100 at all, even though I do remember hearing it on the radio, so I decided to swap it out for Rule the World and Sound of Your Heart. Rule the World, I actually, I put the song on the list after I rewatched Spectrum Pulse's Billboard Breakdown episode where he talked about the Canadian Hot 100, and I really like that song, so I decided to swap out Fire for that song, and Sound of Your Heart found its way in the list due to the fact that I kind of wanted to talk about a Canadian song that was really close to trying on the American Billboard Hot 100, but didn't. I mentioned it in the video when I talk about the song later, but Sound of Your Heart peaked at number 5 on the Bubbling Under Hot 100, which is a 25 song extension. So it effectively peaked on number 105 on the Billboard Hot 100. It was so close to making the Hot 100, but it just missed it by a sliver. Yeah, it's a shame that happens. And plus, this was another chance for me to talk about underrated Canadian media. You know, I already done my King review and Flying Ground Junior High review up to this point. You know, but you know, of course, not just cartoons that are underrated here. It's also music as well. So I'm really glad that I was able to talk about some of these songs here. Mostly because these were songs I do remember hearing on the radio around during my childhood. All the songs on this list are from 2007 to 2018. You know, again, the late 2010s was when I started listening to Canadian pop stations and heard most of those songs. One thing I kind of noticed, and this wasn't intentional, but like a lot of the songs on this video kind of went up to 2015, and then there were no songs from 2016 or 2017, and then Cautious is from 2018, and there were no songs after 2018. There were birthday songs from 2019 or 2020 or 2021. Again, that was not intentional. Maybe part of the reason for that is because I kind of started listening to Canadian radio less and less around around the time I started around like the 2020s. But But there were some songs, you know, from like 2017, like that didn't quite make the cut for the list. Again, if you want to listen to some more Canadian songs besides the ones I talk about in this video, go listen to the Spotify playlist I linked in the description of my original video here. And again, this is formatted very similarly to the top 10 best and worst hit songs of 2020, my top 10 best and worst hit songs list videos. Except I'm talking about 20 songs instead of 10 songs. But a lot of the visuals here, like the slides, like you see, the Don't Kill the Magic one's gonna appear pretty soon. But you know, where you see the title at the top, and then the single cover or the album cover. There's no single cover, and then kind of the information like the genre, the album it's from, etc. at the bottom. Yeah, I make those in PowerPoint. You know, for all the top 10 best and worst songs video slides, I always make those in PowerPoint, like right here, the slide here. But instead of having a solid red background or a solid green background, I put the Canadian flag to make it look more Canadian. I'm also wearing my Canadian hat there to make it look more Canadian. I actually had 2 Canadian hats I could have worn in this video. The other Canadian hat that I had, I had like it had bells on it, but I didn't want to have like jingling every time I move my head, so I decided to flip them without the bells. Yeah, just made me look more Canadian for my Canada Day video. Maybe look more patriotically Canadian. That's kind of funny. Also, because I had this very tall hat on my head, I had to position my my webcam up a little bit so that you could see most of the hat. And because of that, my chin is a little bit cut off there. It's not really right now, but like later in the video you might see where my chin is kind of cut off at the bottom. Mostly because I just wanted like well, I wanted the viewers to see most of my hat, so that's the reason for why that happened. And then also kind of makes it a problem because this is my second video after Flying Around Junior High. After my Flying Around Junior High review, to have subtitles that come with it, you know. And because this is my first video where it's premiere, where there were subtitles that came with it, so you know people can turn on the closed captioning while they're watching the premiere. And I did have a few people in the premiere watching this. DJ Session No Parking Berry was there. Halston, aka Lou Number 95, who has been premiere for all my best and worst hit songs videos, actually was there for the premiere. I told him about this. I'm probably gonna send him this commentary video after I'm done recording here. A message about this. It's like, hey, I mentioned you in this commentary. Also, Sam, aka Magnus Lockhart, aka Mobro Studios, was also in the premiere as well. I'm actually mutuals with him now. And there are a few other people who made it. Well, I'm actually currently working on another music-related video. It was similar to how I said that I'm referenced doing this video, my King review. I'm referenced possibly doing another video in this video here, and I actually am going to make that video. It's going to be it's going to be probably the most ambitious video I've ever made. No, not probably, definitely the most ambitious video I've ever made. It's going to be over an hour long. I can't really say too much about it because I don't want to spoil the topic, but you guys will have to wait and see. Maybe rewatch this the original video again to maybe see if you can figure out what it is. This is also the longest video, the second longest video after my Response to Spectrum Pulse video I've ever made. The Response to Spectrum Pulse video was about 44 minutes long. Oh, I said song instead of band. They were a pretty popular song. I mean, they were a pretty popular band, Headley. What was I saying? Oh yeah, this is like the second longest, and this video was about 42 minutes long. However, it was the biggest file I've ever made for a video. Like the file size after I finished exporting the video was the biggest. I don't remember how many gigabytes it was, but it was it is definitely the longest, the biggest file of a video I've ever made. Although again, the secret video I'm working on that'll probably come out in 2023 that I referenced during this video, that's definitely going to be an even bigger file size. And I'm not sure if I should talk about this now or I should wait till maybe later when when it's actually kind of relevant. Yeah, there's something related to that. I'll probably save it for later. Again, so I filmed this video sometime in July. I think early July. Maybe like 3 weeks before I actually uploaded the video. It was done, I think, of maybe a couple weeks before I actually uploaded it, so it was done a little bit early, but whatever. I think my parents were out of town the day I recorded this, which was definitely good. It meant less noise for me. And I also showed my mom the video after before it came out. I had her watch it, and she liked it. Yeah. And again, this is formatted very similarly to my top 10 best and worst hit songs videos, where again you have the slides with the single cover and the name and everything, and then on the left side of the screen you see the single cover there, and on the right side you have various things that pop up. I saw the King poster there. I actually referenced King a few times in this video. I mentioned when I was talking about Two Heads, maybe Bob Wire will collaborate, and then when I talk about Rule the World, I said I bet King Russell the right. This be song here's whenever she's in the Throne of Under, and then you see that clip in the first episode where he falls on the throne. And then instead of the usual fanfare that happens when he sits on the Throne of Under, I play Rule the World by Walk Off the Earth. It does sound like a very regal song. Yeah, I'll look in the commentary here. Yeah, this is usually what happens when I make these. I kind of need to think of something to talk about. Yeah, right around here is where the first recording of the commentary kind of cut out when I was talking about Guilty as Sin. Dan Deliski actually does follow me on Twitter. Yeah, that's kind of a cool fact. I mentioned that in the live chat that Dan Deliski follows me on Twitter. This is actually one of the songs that one of the two songs in this video that Spectrum Pulse actually talked about in his Billboard Breakdown episode where he talked about the Canadian Hot 100. The other one was Rule the World by Walk Off the Earth, which I also put on this list. Also, like the slides, earlier when you saw like the rules for the list, and then you saw them fading in, and the notes at the beginning that said it was fair use. Like no one followed or critique which falls under fair use. I made those with PowerPoint as well. Yeah, basically just screenshots of of those videos and of those and put them in here. That's also how I do for the Canadian for the top 10 best words hit songs videos as well. Yeah, I just take kind of screenshots of those. I'm gonna do something a little bit differently for my top 10 best worst songs of 2022 videos. I mean, it's still gonna look similar, but there'll be a slight difference in how kind of the visuals appear. You'll see. I put a clip of the bad guys there. Just I With It by Chromeo is the kind of song makes you want to don a pair of sunglasses and bob your head to it, just like that scene from the bad guys where Webbs hit it, and then they all start bobbing their heads and wear sunglasses. Yeah, I mentioned Just I With It was one of the two songs was one of the songs. Not one of the songs. It was the song where I kind of fudged the rules because it was a hit in Hungary and it hit top 5 in Belgium, but whatever. It still should have made the list. It's a really great song. By the way, Halston, I think I mentioned him earlier. That Just I With It, that was one of the two songs that he actually had heard beforehand. 3 songs actually that he heard beforehand. It was Just I With It, Sound of Your Heart, and Stompa that he actually knew beforehand, even though he's from the USA. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure. Again, I'm sure there are Americans out there who have heard these songs. I mentioned that at the very end of this video, but the title is meant to be more of a joke. Like I'm sure there's Americans who have heard these songs. Like, it's just that, in general, Canadian media doesn't really get the same attention that American media does. Yeah, there is some Canadian media that does kind of become big outside of Canada, like I mentioned songs like Call Me Maybe and Rude and Body, but yeah, most of these songs, like, pretty much didn't really get that popular outside of Canada, if at all. But it was nice to, kind of talk about some of these songs. It's not just cartoons that are underrated, too. there's also plenty of great Canadian music that doesn't really get heard. Again, stay tuned for that video I'm working on that'll be on 2023. Plus, it might be a nice little fun fact to share some fun facts that some Americans might be like, wow, I didn't know that, about how Josh Ramsey, who's the lead singer of Mariana's Trench, he wrote and co-produced Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen, which is a song that Americans definitely have heard, but they have never heard of Mariana's Trench. So who would know that the lead singer of that band wrote and produced Call Me Maybe, or who knew that Deborah Cox had another hit song Canada besides Who Do You Love or Nobody's Supposed to Be Here. I put Beautiful You Are on the list, and yeah, I just mentioned the clip from YouTube around 2012, Walk Off the Earth. Yeah, that scene where they're all playing the same guitar, they're playing Gangnam Style on the same guitar. Yeah, they actually had more success in Canada after the Somebody They Used to Know cover and them appearing on YouTube around 2012. But I think it's pretty cool. It's nice to hear some kind of fun facts about some of these artists. Oh, there's a clip from King there. Yeah, and this is a clip where you hear "Rule the World." And there's anything about it I kind of wish I had done. Maybe I might have done differently now. And again, this is relating to the special video I'm working on for next year, the big video. Maybe I would have found maybe like tried to like remove the music. Like there actually are like sites that like allow you to. There actually is a site on that you can actually upload a song like an MP3 file, and it will actually remove like the music, and you can actually download the music and the vocals separately. Maybe I would have done that. Maybe like in the first episode of King where like he falls over the road and says, "Wow, all this under my bed." Maybe I would have like kept the vocals in, but instead of like the typical fanfare music that we sit on his throne, it would have been "Rule the World" by Walk Off the Earth. Maybe that would have more sufficient. Although I wasn't aware there were some songs on here that I wasn't aware some Americans might have heard. I was thinking that "Don't Kill the Magic" by Magic was one song that Americans probably might have heard because of how big Rude was. I mentioned how Halston he had heard "Jealous I Would," "The Sound of Your Heart," and "Stompa." And I mentioned how Stompa, how Adosa Buckley did a musical autopsy on Stompa. He's Canadian as well. Although he didn't have anything positive to say about the song because he makes fun of pop music. But I have some good stuff to say about it. Remember Sam / Magnus Lockhart said in the live, "I gotta hear Stompa in full. I really like the sound of the little clip." Yeah, and then also another thing is in the description of this video, I put the links to everything I talked about, including the Spotify playlist and the Amanda Todd video and everything, and the 2 Canadian songs that that I want to put in the list but weren't legally available, which I don't think still are. And now before before and during the premiere, the description those links weren't on the description yet. I think it said something like links to stuff I talked about in this video will be put here after the premiere ends. You didn't think I'd catch you trying to get a sneak peek of what I put this early, did you? Like a child trying to open Christmas presents early, but then after the video premiere ended, then I updated it with those links. And also, during the countdown of the premiere, I also warned everyone that there'd be a song where I talk about some heavy subject matter about True Colors. I talk about Amanda Todd's suicide. Unfortunately, she actually her suicide. The 10th, October 10th this year was his 10th anniversary for suicide. I actually sent a tweet about that. Unfortunately. Although I heard that the man who like blackmailed Amanda Todd in the first place, he actually was found guilty of his trial this year. I don't know all the details about that. You can Google it if you want more info, but yeah, this is definitely the best part of my video here, where I take my hat off, kind of in solidarity, and I talk slower. Just kind of out of solidarity for Amanda Todd and all the other teens that have taken their lives due to bullying and cyberbullying. I don't actually know how much money True Colors actually raised for charity. I don't actually know how much any charity song made. It would be nice to know. Again, I might be talking about the song again in a future video, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, this is where and again, I kind of talked about the Amanda Todd incident, and again, I did put a I did kind of put a trigger warning there, and I did warn people in the live chat that there was going to be some sensitive subject matter that I was going to be talking about for one of the songs later in this video. If I could give maybe one little brief spoiler for my my big video for 2023, that music related I'm working on, there will also be some sensitive subject matter in that video as well, like towards the end of that video. Again, I'm not going to say too much about that. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, I will be kind of getting into that more. And then I put my hat back on. I kind of keep talking. Oh yeah, and there's a suggested response back to Pulse in the right hand corner there. So far nobody's ever like mentioned in the comments how to like temporarily turn those off. It'll be nice because I'm recording full screen on YouTube right now, so it would be nice to kind of maybe like not have that appear there, so that maybe it'll go a little smoother when I'm recording for this. Especially when I'm back home, I wouldn't need like the pop in the corner, so that would go a little smoother when recording clips for my videos because I use my Xbox app. I'm using the Xbox app right now to record this current thing, so that would be nice, but alas. My chin's kind of cut off there. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in like this take or I'm not sure if I mentioned in this take at all. I know I mentioned in the first take I did recording this commentary. If I didn't mention it, I'll mention it again. If I didn't mention this particular take, I'll mention it again. Yeah, my webcam is kind of pointed up a little bit, so my hat is more visible because I'm wearing the Canadian hat for Canada Day, and the bottom of my chin is kind of cut off there a little bit in the frame. My webcam is not built into my computer monitor. It's actually a clip-on thing, so I can actually move it up or down. And plus, if you have the subtitles on, it actually covers part of my mouth up. So that's a bit of a drawback, but it's not that big a deal. But it's just kind of little things like that, little things that I kind of wish I had done better. And there's always like little nitpicks I'm gonna have on my own thing. I'm always kind of critical about my own videos, and hopefully I use this to improve in the future. You know, I'm getting close to the end, to the part where it's relevant to talk about, so I might as well mention it now. I did not have enough disk space to actually export this video, whole video here. So what I had to do, I'm not sure why I said I should have had enough space, like, but it said in my in the editing software that I was running out of space. So what I had to do is I am up to the point where I showed the title card for Crash and Burn by Lisa Strada, honorable mention for the list. I had to like export the video as it was up to there. It's gonna come up soon. I'll mention it now. So everything up to like here, like there. So and then this part of the video where I talk about the song and do the outro. That was not in the original export, and then I had to put what I had of that back into my video software again, like as a whole video, so I couldn't edit anything before that, and then I had to like add this part back in and everything. I didn't really get many people talking about this honorable mention, Crash and Burn by Lisa Strada. A fun fact, her sister was Emmeline Estrada, who was actually a member of the girl group GRL. You might remember GRL, they featured on Pitbull's 2014 song Wild Wild Love. It's kind of a fun fact there. And there's also another Operator Girl Like Me by Shiloh is another it was the other Canadian song that I couldn't put on the list. Yeah, I mentioned it right there. I put that music video in the description too. Although I think I might know why that song is not legally available anymore. The YouTuber Onision, which yeah, she dated him. So maybe that's part of the reason for why. Ugh, that's horrible to know. Okay, the video is almost over now, so she's still releasing music under Lyldoll, Lylldoll, by the way. All right, that's it. Bye, everyone.